Okay. You ready, David?
Yep.
Cool.
And the nibbles?
Yeah.
Well, who would like to remind us what happened last week?
We split the party, and half of us went to the embassy, and I got information I need to go back home at some point real soon. And go meaning get here. Please, thank you now. Fire turned into a seal and had a grand old time, and the rest of them went and had a day at the salon.
So we made the friends of her sister, and they agreed to have a meeting tonight.
Because they have some sort of cultural society or some shit.
Something, yes. And
What kind of society?
Cultural? I don't know.
It's close, I think, but not quite right.
We're not Boy George.
I don't get this at all.
Culture
the first
club.
Part of cultural is cult.
Oh, I was going with the Thai's suggestion of culture club.
after that, everyone got back to the mansion.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Rizwan wrote a letter to Zoe's dad.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Explaining this, I guess, because we don't know, but I guess explaining the situation that there is the Platinum Armada here, Platinum Army, Platinum stuff.
I like Platinum Armada.
I mean, yeah.
Can it be an armada with one ship?
I don't think so, but I still like it.
I don't think they only have one ship. There's one ship here, I assume.
No comment.
Furious is scribbling.
Google's image search for sloops.
After that, I don't know what else happened. Fire had tried to do a thing and didn't go well with this soy sister.
Fire learned about magic and consent.
Yeah, I still doesn't get it. Soy did a hangout with her sister. And Rizwin was the one who got from Nicholas that the evil cultists are back here in the city.
No, Zoe got that after Zoe's father spoke to Rizwan about some stuff and then asked to see Zoe.
Yes. And so I got that info, and everyone got alert to the max. And said, we need to talk each other, everyone, and figure out this shit. And Pert wasn't there.
Yep.
Because Pert decided to go do Pert things. Which involved getting beat up by an attractive woman.
There are worse ways to spend an evening, I guess.
Somehow he got beat up and still got the date.
And then...
I mean, he paid for the date.
He came back. Zoe has to borrow his cloak, and is totally not just going to go off and have a fun time with her sister / do recon. Not sure which yet.
Why
My
not
notes
both?
have the words inexplicably decided.
And that's roughly where we left off, with Pert trailing them as the invisible shadow he is. And Zoe going, let's go find some Zoe-sized holes.
And we kind of agreed that the next day, like, okay, the Camel thing needs to be done. He needs to go. But first we need to get rid of the cultists because it's very urgent. So next day we need to, again, split the party and start to figure out how the hell we kind of find them and crush them.
Yep. All the while avoiding the gaze of the Platinum Army and possibly not angering the entire city of Blackcaster. And the other cult of Bashaba.
Yeah.
They are a church, thank you very much.
Sure.
Any church is a cult with good PR.
Paladins or warlocks with good PR changed my mind.
And plate armor.
Yeah, I was
And
just
plate
remember.
Yeah, I can't find the lie there.
They don't get their spells back on a short rest.
Sucks to be them.
Smite.
That's the cost of PR.
Yeah.
Look, I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
Okay, so Abigail and Gwen walk arm in arm through the house with Pert trailing behind.
Yar.
And has Zoe attuned to the cloak?
That's a very good question because it takes an hour.
It technically takes an hour. Are you really going to make me sit around for an hour, Jamie?
We could have said that you did that already.
That would be appreciated.
Okay. So Zoe has attuned to the cloak. Gwen stops by her room to get a cloak of her own, just a plain black cloak. So what do you do?
First question I have is, does this cloak seem well worn?
It is magical, so any...
I mean, Gwen's, not.
Oh, Gwen's? Not in particular.
All right. Knowing that though she can't see him, Pert is following. So we will go down to the basement. We'll go down the flight of stairs, down another flight of stairs, into the closet, Jimmy off the back, and lead Gwen down a little path, then out of the area.
Okay. Are you trying to evade your
That's
tail?
good.
Yes, she
Tasty as
specifically
heck
picked
and
an area
a little
that
bit of grease and
Gwen
salt
and
and butter.
Zoe will
Yeah.
barely fit through. Possibly a little tugging, a little pushing is going to be required.
Okay.
Yeah.
First I would like you to make a stealth check.
With advantage.
Yes, because you have the cloak.
Hell yeah. No, very tasty.
How bad did Gwen roll?
Oh, about as bad as you can.
Nice.
Well then. Pert, please make a perception check.
Sure thing.
You are not at disadvantage, even though Zoe has the cloak, because Gwen is with her.
Apparently I am at disadvantage. Because I rolled a 2.
I think there's a moment where they're like going down a flight of stairs, and you take a little bit of space behind them and go down, and then can't quite figure out where they went. And after a few seconds, you hear like a bang in the distance of like somebody's foot or knee hitting wood. And it clues you in that that's probably where they went. But by the time you get there... Zoe, what does the secret passage look like?
For the first little bit, it looks like rough rock that's kind of probably should have been filled in, and then it opens into like once past the tight bit, it's just probably not the greatest spot. A storm drain type area. Just one of the ways Zoe snuck out through her life.
Mm-hmm. I don't think, given how poorly Gwen rolled, I don't think you would have had time to close it behind you. But you're pretty sure that Pert can't fit through. And Pert, as you come upon this, what looks like a secret passage out of the house, it's small.
So down on hands and knees, trying to crawl. Is Pert able to get shoulders and upper body into the tunnel, or is it? Oh God, no! This is tight.
Make me make me a wisdom check.
Sure thing.
There is, like, Pert is pretty skinny. There is an outside chance that you would be able to make it through, but there is a very, very high chance that you would get stuck. And if you get stuck in the middle of this, then you might be in trouble.
Pert will measure it up, consider his traveling clothes, consider his plans for tomorrow, and return to his room to see if the others are still there.
Are the others still there?
I think we are. We know Zoe was up to something, which is why Pert followed her.
Then,
Unless anyone has anything different to say about that, obviously.
I think to remember, I could be wrong, but I think to remember we were there when they talk about hanging out tonight. And then she said, no, but I'm just hanging out with my sister here. And Five was, oh, well, okay. And she went, and I was like, wait.
I mean, we could go with it that way then. Zoe said, yeah, I'm just going to be around the grounds tonight with my sister. Pert had suspicions and followed them, and we were like, okay.
Point of order, wasn't I there when the folks at the salon invited them to come back tonight?
You were.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like that's a reasonable assumption.
Well, let's just go with it and let Pert find us and go from there.
then Pert would come back in, probably noticeable dirt and scrapings and rubbings on his shoulders and upper torso from his attempt to enter the tunnel and get a size for it. And he would step in, glance around the room, notice Rincewind, and move to her side before speaking up. She's left the house through a tunnel that even I would struggle to slip through on my belly. I don't know if you know more about this.
I'd assume that they are probably going to end up back at the salon. They were invited to something. I'm not really sure what.
Do we want to go to a, diner across the street just in case something goes wrong?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't get a bad vibe off of them. That's where they're going. As long as they get there safe, they should be okay.
But isn't the cult dangerous? I know she's going to be very mad if we do anything, but the danger.
She's being incredibly irresponsible. And more than a little arrogant.
She's a teenager.
She knows exactly that the cultists want her for something, and she's putting herself in danger. And she's putting her sister in danger.
Well, at a certain point, there's not much we can do.
Can I interrupt something?
Hmm.
I had stuck in my mind. Yeah, but we cannot get out because it's night and the night is curfew time. That's not the game. That's in real life. And I can do.
Oh dear.
So Fire likes the idea of getting the dinner in our nearby restaurant.
You mumbled that all there, Quasta. Fire likes the idea of what?
Sorry. Dinner in a nearby restaurant. If everything comes okay, she wouldn't even note that we went there.
Free city,
Is it?
presumably.
All right, what you guys doing?
The others. Well, do you want to just leave her on a rope, or do you want to go be in the area?
Pert looks to Rizwin.
Rizvin doesn't seem to know what to do.
Let's go.
Let's go. Pert
But
finds. Yep, go ahead.
if we don't find something evil and just having a good time, we don't interrupt.
Agreed.
Agreed. Pert finds himself and Rizwin two reasonably nice cloaks from one of the servants' rooms and just makes them disappear when no one's watching.
Okay.
So that way him and Rizwin look reasonably dressed, not, stylish.
Uh-huh.
Pert offers one to Rizwin.
All right.
And Pert looks to Kamale. Do you want to do the subtle thing?
Thinking about it. I'd rather be prepared in case something horrible happens. I'll stay back.
All right. Then Pert will
I'll
leave.
go with you, but I'll stay.
Yeah. Maybe stay with Fire so Fire can kind of keep you less noticeable.
How?
Well, Fire, there's this neat thing that you do where you have a bubbling personality, and so people tend to pay attention to you.
I can do that.
Just be yourself.
And Pert will get Rizwin's directions and lead back to the salon, or at least to a nearby dining establishment as close to the salon as possible.
Okay. All 5 of you are going?
I believe that's the plan.
What about the boy and his kitty?
Not sure.
Because he might want to bring his pillow along, and that would be awkward.
It's not that awkward.
Memorable?
There's a lot about you guys that are memorable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she would note us.
Maybe Malice stays in his room with his pillow too, just so that way he's less memorable.
I mean, at night, it's not as noticeable. Also, have you tried separating those two?
I mean,
You
I still
a
have
hard-
all
you
of
have
my
an easier, you have an easier time unbaking a cake.
I still have all of my fingers, so no, I haven't tried it recently.
His plans sound worse and worse.
Aww.
Very cute, fine tie. So, Amel's gonna come with us?
Sure.
Alrighty.
I mean, if we don't want that, Amelus can act as lookout. They're both very quiet.
Yeah. Pert was going to act as lookout, but Amelus can do it instead, because they're both about equal in that kind of range of abilities.
Mhm.
So, I guess if that's acceptable to Amelus, Pert will get the rest of them into the restaurant and a dining situation as close to the door or a window as possible, and we'll just hand out some extra food to Amelus through the window. Don't want to leave him alone. He's part of the group.
Okay. So there is indeed like a little I guess it would be like sort of a middle end restaurant, although at this time of night it's more drinks than food.
What's the tab for, say, 2 to 3 hours?
Like 2 or 3 silver.
Alright, Pert will just pay ahead a full gold to cover the...
Don't pay too. I would actually grab Pert's hand when he pulls out a large amount of money. Do not pay too much; he'll draw attention.
Pert pulls out a single gold and says that he's covering the group's tab and around on the house. Around for the house, sorry.
Mm.
And then...
Not drawing attention, eh?
Yeah, not drawing attention at all.
around for the house from an anonymous benefactor.
The waiter says that's very kind of you, and goes and disseminates drinks. While you situate yourselves by a window to watch the hairdressers across the street. Zoe, you and Gwen successfully made it out of the house.
That seems yeah, that seemed like they would have gotten well ahead of them.
Oh yes, yeah. We're going back in time a little bit. How gross are you?
It's not a sewer system. It's just the storm drain. So Zoe made sure to keep them on a ledge and away from the walls, and to avoid falling in, considering it's probably dark.
Mm-hmm.
She probably gave Gwen a light coin, considering she wouldn't want to touch the rocks.
Yeah.
Gwen
is very quiet while you're down here, mostly concentrating on not falling.
Once out, Zoe would do the out and a little bit away from the house. She would do the prestidigitation thing to make sure Gwen was clean, and then herself.
Yeah.
So, not bad. Don't tell Mom about that, please.
Oh, I won't. I'll have to remember that one.
Oh, you keep growing, you're not going to be able to fit through it. And if you don't keep growing, you're going to be as short as I am.
I've got a couple of years.
That's what I thought.
She takes your arm and pulls up the hood of her cloak and starts walking down the street. So, you want to tell me what all that was about?
Thinking. Just there being stubborn and thinking we should leave sooner, and I was being grumpy and saying I didn't want to leave yet, so I snuck out so they couldn't be like, no, you can't go, we must pack.
Oh. Well, good. I don't want you to leave yet either.
So, I'm totally lost. Where are we going? Like, I know where we're going, but not how to get there.
Gwen is leaving. Now that you're out of the house and on the street, she seems to be walking pretty confidently.
So, how often do you sneak out?
Not often.
So, once a week?
Yes. Don't tell Mom.
You know, she's gonna figure it out one day, and she's gonna be so angry.
Not if you don't tell her.
I meant it, both of us.
Well, you'll just have to be home when she finds out so that she can be mad at you instead of me.
Wait, where's the... How does that work? So I get in trouble and stuck here as well?
Yeah.
You're not doing a very good at selling this idea.
I guess I'll have to work on it. She leads you through the streets. Most of the route you recognize, at least a little bit. Until you are back at the salon that you visited this morning. There's a gentle glow of street lamps in this part of town. And as you get closer to the house, you see that there's a light on in the second floor. Gwen leads you up to the front door, gives a short, quiet knock, and the door opens, and you see the short-haired hairdresser named Renna that cut yours and Gwen's hair previously today. She smiles when she sees you two and opens the door a little wider to let you in.
So he is for some reason feeling a little nervous and just curtsies, because that's what she was taught to do, and then waits for her sister to enter and follows her in.
All right. Renna closes the door behind you two. Are you keeping your cloak put up?
I think when she's in, she'll lower the cloak hood.
Okay.
You know, once off the street and stuff.
Mm-hmm. No,
No, she has her hat. But
Okay.
it's the little one, not the giant one that she was using to hide her horse. This is just
Okay.
her stylish hat. She probably pulls the hat out after lowering the cloak.
So horns on display.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if these are friends of Gwen, I'm sure they're well aware that Zoe has horns.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, there's just gonna say there's. I assume that the town knows about Zoe, even if
Oh yeah.
and would know who Gwen was, so would know that Zoe was sister and stuff.
As Rena closes the door behind you, she says softly, "She's not here yet."
Does she just say that, or is she speaking
Yeah.
to Zoe or Gwen?
She's speaking to you. You asked her if she could arrange a meeting with the person who they got the magical hair dye off of.
Yes, sorry, I just was trying to figure out if that was what she was referring to, or if it was something else.
Yeah, you gather that's what she's referring to. And Gwen kind of shrugs and says, "Well, we can go meet everyone else while we wait."
Well, if that was the priority, you were going to introduce me to your friends.
Let's go. And she takes your hand and leads you up a narrow staircase to the second floor. The second floor of this house is cozy, with a few couches all occupied by about a dozen people or so. Young men and women, teenagers. Gwen's probably the youngest, though. A group of four are engaging in a debate, leaning in towards each other, passion in their voices. Three young women sit on a couch, leaning in towards each other and talking in hushed voices. Your nobility senses can just sense that there's gossip afoot. There's a young man sitting in the corner with a canvas set up in front of him, painting something that you can't see.
Am I getting any feelings off this group, or are they just a group having fun?
Roll me an insight check.
13.
Okay. As you take a moment to sort of look over everybody, you see a couple of people who are standing beside like a big table with some like pretty generous refreshments, food and drink. Look over at you and say, "Hey, Gwen, who? Hey, wait, is this?" And everybody kind of stops and looks in your direction.
Zoe, unaware of herself, kind of takes a step behind Gwen.
Gwen is also like a little taken aback for a second, and then holds up a hand and says, "Hello. I would like you all to meet my sister, Abigail." She steps out of the way a little bit.
Abby is a little petrified at the moment. You know, still not great with giant crowds, but her upbringing tries to take over. She gives a small curtsy and says, "It's nice to meet all of you. Unfortunately, I don't know much about you, but if you're friends of my sister, then I guess you're friends of mine, if that's okay."
There's just like a couple of beats of silence until a couple of the women stand up and give a little curtsy and say, "It's very nice to meet you, Abigail." You hear somebody in the back say, "Hey, nice to meet you." A little less formal. And as the sort of hellos and nice to meet yous kind of permeate through this crowd, the tension kind of drops a couple of notches. And as you start to feel a little more comfortable, and that like sort of moment of panic starts to die away, you notice something else. You feel a little push, like a gentle hand on your back. And you know that there's no one back there. You recognize the sort of feeling of your patron. And this feeling is pushing you towards the back of the room where you see that young man painting.
No, at this point, Zoe knows well enough to follow her patron's lead and will start to go towards the painting and the young man. I'm not sure what she's doing, but you know.
Before you get there, two teenagers kind of approach you and like get in your way a little bit, eager to introduce themselves. The teenage boy holds out a hand to shake yours. And the girl looks at him like, "What are you doing? You don't shake a lady's hand."
Zoe shakes the hand, but does like the really tiny one.
Mm-hmm. I apologize for him. He is not so used to our style of manners.
Can I do a quick perception check on this gentleman?
Sure. His clothes are nice, but he's not. You can tell by the way he stands that he's not nobility.
Would this be like a store owner's
Yeah, probably like a well-off merchant's child. This teenage girl though, you might recognize her. She's definitely noble born, and she introduces herself as Elena Van Ursel.
Do I know anything of the Vandersals?
You know that they're another of the noble families in the city. They. I need to pull out my notes. They are, I guess, in charge of a lot of like the craftsmen and farmers and like the production work that goes on in the city. So not nearly as wealthy as your family, which is, you know, foreign trade's pretty lucrative.
Yeah, and I assume there's a lot of people that suck up to Zoe's family to make sure that their goods are ones that get shipped out for the best profit.
Mm-hmm.
Zoe says it's okay. Manners are what I fall back on when I get a little nervous, and standing in front of a group is, even if a group like this, with everyone looking at you, it's a little, wasn't what I was expecting is all. I was not prepared, and I'm sorry for that.
Oh, don't apologize. And you don't need to be nervous in front of us. If this brute can do it, I'm sure you'll fit in just fine. The boy doesn't even look offended. You get the sense that they know each other quite well, that their bantering is pretty playful. Even if some of her words are not the nicest.
The words don't have harsh undertones to them.
Yeah. And she invites you to sit with her and with a couple of the other girls.
Zoe eyes the back of the room, but she's there to meet Gwen's friends, so she will sit with them for now.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever interacted with your peers like this in this city?
No. I think Zoe has the training, but not so much the experience with peers.
Mm-hmm.
She's probably been at dinners where the adults are speaking and watched and had to put on all the proper mannerisms, but actually being involved with them, no.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I can't help myself. Is she more of a wharf girl?
I don't get it.
She doesn't have experience with peers.
God damn it!
I specifically said her peers, which means she owns the wharves according to you. And no, that's not what her family does.
So over the, course of like half an hour to an hour, they talk to you and around you. You very much get the sense that this is like a mix of the children of nobles and the children of merchants. Most of the people here have money, but there's a couple that seem to, not be dressed quite as well. You take a couple of glances at that kid in the corner, and he seems to, not be dressed quite as fancy as everyone else. There's another, 2 or 3 people that you would gather don't have quite as much money. And as you're sitting there talking, they talk about philosophy, and you think you hear a couple of people not in your group talking about economic theory. And Elena explains that this place is a sort of club to talk about ideas that may not go over well in more proper circles.
I think Zoe wants to share an idea.
Uh-huh.
She will start to do the talk she does about Shar. And see how people react to it. And we'll continue based on that.
Please make a performance check. And how are you presenting this? Are you presenting this as a story that you heard or as a thing that you participated in?
I think she's doing it as a story that she's heard in her travels.
Okay.
She doesn't think that telling everyone, "Oh yeah, I met a god," would go over so well.
Yeah. By the end of your story, most of the room has stopped what they were talking about and is listening to you. And there's just a little smattering of applause when you finish. And Elena, who's sitting beside you, is sort of looking at you wide-eyed and says, I've never heard that. That's so beautiful.
Isn't it? I believe it's true. I don't believe that the stories we hear about her are correct. And, well, based on the fact that the stories that people say about me just leads me to want to believe it.
Somebody else sitting on another couch pipes up that it makes a lot of sense that the story would change over time to this one of these two polar opposites that we love, that sort of thing in culture, and the conversation starts to change towards talking about opposites in stories.
A bunch of nerds.
Hey, it's my sister's friends. I think this is the point where Zoe will use this as a moment to slip away from the group.
Sure.
Now that their topic has changed, and continue following the lead her patron was giving her to the back of the room.
Yeah. You vaguely notice that as you sort of start to slip away a bit, Elena grabs Gwen and starts quizzing Gwen about your return to town.
Abby feels slightly bad for throwing her sister under the bus.
Elena she very much gives off a bit of a popular girl vibe, but she also does seem to actually be engaging in, some of the talk that's going around, and is, maybe not just a pretty face.
Like the pretty face is a
Go right ahead.
disguise
Not a
for
problem.
what she really is, or just there's more layers to her than she puts
More,
on.
it can be kind of hard to tell sometimes.
Well, hope Gwen paid attention to the question so she gets the right answers. Or gives the right answers.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any reaction when Abby goes and sees the gentleman painting?
Throughout your conversation, he seems to have continued to paint, but he does notice you approach, and he, puts aside his paintbrushes. Hello?
Hello, my name is Abby. May I look at your picture? May I look at your art? Yes. May I look at your art?
Um, sure. It's not done yet. You can kind of notice that he's having a hard time not looking at your horns.
Like interested or horrified?
Make an insight check. You're not sure. I mean, there's a lot of people, even here, there's people that just, their gaze gravitates towards the thing that's different.
I think Zoe tries to just ignore that There's clearly something here that she's supposed to be noticing or wondering about as she has to look at the picture.
She looks at the picture. It is sort of styled after the room that you're in, like the couches and the paintings on the walls are all in the same place, but everything is kind of like, you know, like Waycrest Manor, where everything is kind of in a dark grayish light, as opposed to the warm light that the room is actually currently giving off.
So basically gothic.
Yeah. And there's a few like white spaces in the middle where like some sort of foreground element is probably going to go, but he doesn't seem to have gotten that far yet.
An interesting take on a picture of the room. Sadly, it lacks a little bit of the warmth, don't you think?
Yeah, that's kind of the point. I'm just trying new stuff. You know. It's nice to see you here. We've all heard a lot about you from Gwen.
I hope she hasn't been spreading too many long stories.
No. She misses you. She worries about you.
It's a two-way street. So, did you start this tonight?
Yeah.
What style are you experimenting with?
Jamie knows nothing about paintings. So you talk about paintings a little bit. As you're sort of having this small talk with him, you very much get the sense like there's something he wants to talk to you about and kind of can't quite get the words out.
You know, I know the horns are a little bit scary, but it's okay. I'm not. They aren't who I am.
I'm sorry.
You're welcome to ask any question you want.
This is going to sound stupid and selfish. Gwen said that you left 6 months ago. You just up and disappeared.
More or less. I don't think I just up and disappeared. I had planned to leave and left.
Oh, that's good, I guess.
To her, it might have seemed that I up and disappeared one night.
Yeah. My brother went missing about the same time. And I know that you're much more important than we are, and it's kind of dumb for me to think that they might have been connected, but
I can't say I left with anyone. So I'm sorry to say that they, as far as I'm aware, they weren't connected. But if you have a missing brother, that's a missing brother. Who you were born to does not matter in that situation.
Yeah.
Did he leave anything behind?
Some stuff.
What do you mean by some stuff? Like his things or like a note?
He didn't leave a note. Just wasn't there one day. He'd been talking about weird stuff.
I think Zoe lowers her voice to make sure it was just the two of them that could hear it. What type of weird stuff? If you don't mind me asking.
He said he found someone who could teach him magic, and that weird stuff like magic is our birthright and everybody should be learning it, and that it was stolen from us, and just weird stuff. I think he got involved with some bad people.
She whispers the name of the cult.
He stops fidgeting when you say it and looks at you. I think I heard him say that once.
What did your brother look like?
Like me, I guess. He's a few years older. Short brown hair. He just kind of shrugs. And this guy, like, there's no, like, really obvious distinguishing features about this teenager.
And when I first viewed him, he didn't remind me of anyone.
Not in particular.
I'm sorry to say that those people are not good people.
Yeah.
I don't really want to go into details with my sister nearby, but they have caused some problems in this world.
You see him take a deep breath and then look you in the eyes and say, "What else do you know?"
Have you heard any stories coming out of the other major cities nearby recently?
I heard these guys, and he gestures to the rest of the room, talking about some invasion in Marielda. I don't pay attention to that stuff very much.
There is a good chance what they were talking about is all true. And they're the reason for it.
Oh,
If your brother is with them, he's got himself tangled up in some less than good people.
you know about them?
I think so. He just goes quiet and looks at her feet.
Can you help me find him?
I would love to help you try, but it's not safe for you to be anywhere near them. They don't care who they'd hurt.
Miss Abigail,
Abby,
Abby. I accepted a while ago that Wyatt got himself into some trouble, and that there's a good chance that he's not coming home, but if at least we could know. You see him glance behind you for a second. Not knowing's the worst.
there is a decent chance I will have contact with them in the near future. And I will keep an eye out for your brother. Though, if you could give me more details than he just looks like an older you, that would be helpful.
Sure. He like sort of, does the looking around for something to write with. Goes over and grabs a piece of parchment, and writes down sort of just a general description. It is pretty general. You might have a hard time identifying this person just from looks. The Blackcaster is much more homogenous than Marielda. But his name is Wyatt.
Do you think you could draw him? It seems you have a good skill with art.
He smiles a little bit and says, "It'll take me some time to do a good one. Can you come see me tomorrow or in 2 days?"
No. I am technically not supposed to be here now. Don't tell anyone.
Looks around at the room of people. Okay.
But, you could bring it by the house and say that I ordered it and you're delivering.
I can do that.
Okay.
Thank you.
And Zoe does what Zoe does and leans forward and gives him a hug. I'm sorry you're having to deal with this.
He doesn't say anything. He gives you a very gentle hug back. From over his shoulder, you see Renna standing near the stairs with a dwarven woman, a little older, that you didn't see here before, and she gives you the very small wave of come over here.
So he gives a little wave to the artist and then goes over to the dwarven lady.
She is the only non-human in this room. And as you get a little bit closer, you can tell that she's wearing, a very nice embroidered tunic and riding trousers. Brenna introduces her as Dulabella, a merchant that specializes in connecting clients with rare and unusual merchandise. She gives a little bow to you and says, "How can I help you?"
Good evening. I understand you have magical connections.
I suppose, yes.
I am searching for somebody who can cast a specific spell. One that can make the insides of a location bigger than the outsides.
Well, I've not heard that one before.
Sadly, it seems like it is not the most common of things, though I have seen the effects with my own eyes before.
Generally, the things I deal in are much more simply enchanted. Though she kind of looks you up and down at the clothes you're wearing. Perhaps for the right price, I would be able to let you ask him yourself.
Well, I can. At least I think I can do the enchanting myself. I just need somebody who can cast the spell. Though, I mean, if you know of an item that you can hold more than it should be able to, I assume you would have shared that already.
Yes, that would be the easy road. Our resident wizard does not often allow for guests. Not that she kind of leans in and whispers this part. Not that many people would want to be in his company. But for the right price, perhaps something can be arranged. She's looking at you like, pay me.
Yes, I'm aware that you said that, but you have yet to say what that price would be.
Hmm. 100 gold to arrange a meeting?
20% up front, 80% on delivery.
50% up front.
20%. You have my family's name to be able to know that the deal is valid.
I also know that you haven't been in town much lately. Wouldn't want you to go running off on another adventure before my bills got paid.
Ah, but if I run away, you get to keep the 20% and have nothing and provide no service.
Well, I suppose that's true. Make a persuasion check. %20 up front.
I think Zoe gives her 25 gold and just smiles and glad to know my negotiation skills are still good. Thank you for that.
She closes her hand around the gold and says, I will send a letter to your family house, yes?
Please.
Once I have secured a meeting. I will be sure to do it as quickly as possible, but he is a bit temperamental sometimes. Best not to rush. Yes.
This is true. And I may not be here when it comes time. That is true. And if that happens, then the next time I am in town, same deal.
All right.
She's
And
trying to imply that if she leaves, the money is forfeit. She accepts that the money is forfeit and she would have to pay it again.
she gives you another little nod and goes back down the stairs. Brenna kind of gives you a raised eyebrow and says, that was a lot of money just to arrange a meeting.
When one seeks magical items in this world, especially rare ones, it's sometimes you have to spend the money to actually get what you need.
Well, I'm glad I don't need anything quite that badly. She looks around at the group of young adults, chattering and laughing. We arranged to stay for a little while.
Pardon? You cut out, or my didn't come through clear for me.
Are you going to stay for a while?
No, I need to meet all of Glenn's friends. Also, I think I was meant to be here.
That's good.
So, this lady is much older than everyone else in the room, right?
She's probably like just about 30.
May I ask, do you often host the local young adult society?
It was a tradition that Tally and I started. And, well, we have the space. We have the trust. And it's good for young minds to get to do this. Explore new ideas, new ways of looking at the world. To be in a place where they're maybe not judged for being a little different. Believing things a little different.
I wish I knew about this place when I was Gwen's age.
I think there's a lot more kids in this city that could benefit from it than we can reach. But we can only do what we can.
Thank you for providing this area for my sister.
Of course. So you spend a little while longer talking and conversing with everyone.
I think at some point in the night, Zoe goes over to Gwen and just gives her a hug from behind and just whispers, "I'm sorry."
Why?
For putting you through the worry of me disappearing.
I was really worried. But you're home now. At least for a while. And out of the corner of your eyes, you move your head, you notice the kid who's painting just turn his head away as though he was looking at you until you started to look at him.
Zoe is wondering why she seems to have attacked all the boys.
But the night does eventually come to a close. A couple of people say it's time for them to leave. Then a couple more. And it is in the back of your mind that you probably shouldn't be out too late.
Really scrape it.
Come on, Gwen. We should get going home. You need to show me how you sneak back into the house.
Okay. I'm sure you already know it. You seem to know everything else about the house.
Did you know Dad is really talkative when he's just working?
Yeah, I don't want to bring it up to him.
I mean, where do you think I learned them from? He thinks like you're all closed up. Apparently, he wasn't paying enough attention to the workers he hired for that.
And the two of you descend down the stairs and leave to go home. It is 3 hours have passed. You guys have been sitting in this cavern, this little bar. People have, filtered in and out. Time keeps going.
Does our watch ever notice Zoe and gang leaving?
Do you guys do anything in the meantime?
I think most of us are just existing. Those of us with greater patience are probably better at it than others.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about it. Hang out, eat food.
Yeah, I'm basically letting fire be the biggest distraction in the universe when he just walks over to the bar, starts talking to the bartender or something. Presumably about making some sort of mushroom whiskey.
I was taught to be that I need to talk. So I talk.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we're trying to be conscious of people coming and going from that building.
Yep.
Yeah. So after about 3 hours, whether it is Pert or Amma who is on watch, they see two figures, one of whom seems pretty hidden by shadow, but the other who is definitely Guinevere, leaving the house.
I think Pert would eventually spell Amalus unless he's determined to stay outside.
I mean, Alma was keeping watch.
Okay. Then you'd probably be the one that would notice this.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd let you guys know.
Pert would kind of just give a casual gesture to the rest of the party and wander over to Fire's side, leaning just a little bit on his friend's shoulder because they're close to the same height, before speaking up. Well, Fire, I think we've had a good night out. Let's say we wander back to the house.
Okay.
And unless anyone has other things to do, Pert will bundle them out of the bar, reasonably peacefully and quietly.
While we walking out, should we rush to? I don't know. I don't worry about it.
It's a free city.
Rizwin, you're just gonna tag along, or do you want to do something, or keep quiet in the corner?
I think we should get back.
The less time we're out, some of us are in the streets, probably the better.
Pert will.
I'm tired.
Pert will make a point then of just getting the group back in the most direct and shortest path as possible without actually anyone having to break out into a run or anything.
Okay.
Casual, direct route.
I would like everybody to make a stealth check.
Stealth without advantage? What is that?
Hey, at least you have stealth.
But what if
Would we be aware enough to use that in the city? Is my question. Also, that's not a thing I want to determine since I don't have the spell.
Rizwin, please turn off your 2GM.
You
Costa Rizwin rolled a 15.
Hey, I didn't fuck up.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Bad for man in full plate armor.
This includes you, Zoe. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Did Gwen fall and trip in like the biggest puddle?
Yep. So Gwen is not stealthy.
Do they have to spend an hour cleaning her off?
Not that. She's not that clumsy. I think Gwen is just so excited about Abigail finally getting to meet her friends that she's just talking the whole way home and like not controlling her volume very well.
Gwen, it's late. You can't be that loud.
Sorry.
This is the third time I've said it.
Sorry. I'm really happy that you got along with everyone. And excited talking to Jeremiah.
Something just told me I need to go speak to him.
Yeah. I know his brother disappeared a while ago. He used to be a lot happier.
Wow.
He's just kind of retreated.
Pretty much. Cute bitch, but bitch nonetheless.
You feel bad for him.
Abby just looks at her. All right, how long have you been sneaking out?
A couple months.
He said his brother went disappeared the same time I did, which probably would have been the time his personality started to shift.
Oh, that's Chamey's mistake.
Okay, sorry. She heard he's
Yes.
changed.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, I wish I knew about that place when I was your age. It looks like a nice, welcoming group.
Yeah. It's not without its heated moments occasionally. Some people get very excited. But
Says the girl who can't keep her volume down.
sorry.
I think so. We just reach over and pokes her in the nose. Do you join in the conversations?
Sometimes.
What did you think of my story?
It was very interesting.
I technically lied back there.
Oh?
It wasn't a story I heard. It was a story I was told by Solane and Shar.
What?
I might have met two goddesses.
Her eyes are wide, and she pulls you a little closer and says, "Keep talking." I assume you just tell her the story on the way home.
Yeah.
So by the time you get home, given that you were telling the story, did you maybe take the long way home?
Yeah, we'll let the other ones get ahead.
Yeah, the other ones got there first, probably by only like 5 or 10 minutes.
That's because Pert was going slow for the others.
And after having regaled Abigail or Guinevere with your story, she leads you back through another secret passage that you definitely know of.
Ah, the quiet one. Yes, the best way to get in at night.
Yeah. Through the cellars and up to the first floor. And she says, "We should probably go to bed." And she tries to be as quiet as possible, getting to her room. Oh, that's not so bad. She's a little quieter in the house than she is on the street.
I don't know about the rest of the party, but I think Pert will be sitting in his room at a chair with a book with the door open and a light on so that it's very obvious he's awake and reading.
Okay.
Yeah, I think most of us, I can't speak for this, but I'm playing dumb.
Abby rests the. Apparently, Risbon did a good job at hiding her anger.
Oh, I thought that was her job of playing dumb.
It's late. I think Fire is just sleeping.
I might be just praying.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Abby leaves the cloak on Pert's door.
Pert will just lightly tap his nose and nod to you, but leave the coat there for the moment.
And then sees Gwen back to her room and then goes to see Rizwin.
Brisbane is sharing a room with you, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
I assume she's sleeping on the daybed.
Yeah, I think so.
I think she's probably still on the floor anyway.
Did she move to the floor? Because Zoe definitely made sure she was in the daybed after
So-
failing to get her into the bed.
Zoe wasn't here when Rizwin went to sleep tonight.
No, but
Does Rizwin have like 5 or 6 gold coins underneath her?
Nah.
Um,
She's more about the gems than the coins.
Zoe is trying to wake Rizwin up, though.
Hello.
I need your help with something.
Okay.
We need to send a warning message, right?
Yeah. I guess we do.
So, may I cast a spell on you?
What spell?
One to let you go speak with her.
Me?
Yeah, she's gonna rather talk to you. She'll kill me if I interrupt her dreams.
I don't think she holds me in any higher regard than any of the rest of us.
You're a freaking Whispers dragon. Trust
She
you more than
is
me.
so much older than I am.
Yeah, well, you're older than I am, so. And I'm definitely not going to send Kamal. You want to send
Could you
fire?
just
You think that'll go well?
send a message or something?
Do you know how to get a mail to her? Because I don't.
No, like, she taps her head. She doesn't understand how the book works.
Only names I put only people who willingly signed my book I can message.
Fine.
And with that, so he preps the dream spell and casts it on Rizwin.
Like, right before you cast it, she, like, stops you and is like, wait, could she actually kill me?
No, you're too strong.
That's dodging the question. Like, she's asking, like, could she actually get killed in the dream, basically?
Zoe has no idea. She's just not quite ready to be scared of the dragon. Also, I was trying to find a reason to send you instead of me.
Confidence very low.
Ty, roll me a d20.
Oh no. And this, everybody, is where we see Nibbles get foisted by his own petard.
Nope, that's not what's happening. As you're settling down and you start to cast the spell, and you just kind of shift a bit. And there's like something tickling in the back of your mind. Make an insight check, I think? Or maybe a perception check.
Same roll.
A 15.
That should not have been an advantage. Sorry.
As you're just like trying to get comfortable to cast this spell that you haven't done very much. There's this like piece of paper that Jeremiah wrote on that's crinkling in your pocket, and you take it out, and then you realize that there's paper in your other pocket too.
Zoe's confused where that came from and goes and checks the other pocket.
Okay, there's a piece of parchment that you don't remember in your pocket.
Is there anything written on it?
Yeah, it's like folded up, and you open it, and you see in very flowy handwriting, "You are cordially summoned to luncheon tomorrow afternoon. Please arrive 1 hour after noon. At Fortune's favor, one of my attendants will lead you through. One chaperone is permitted. I look forward to our conversation." And it's signed at the bottom, Prophet and Terrace.
Hey, Jamie, I feel like I should know some information here. Could I have it, please?
Prophet and Terrace is the cleric of Bishaba.
Yikes.
Dream spell's not happening. Zoe's freaking out. Like, Brisbane, you've never seen Zoe look like this before.
She's like looking to, I guess, try to see what's on the paper.
Yeah, you can see the paper and you can see what's written there. Unless, like, Zoe's trying to keep it from you.
She doesn't have the mental fortitude right now to do any of that.
I assume Rizwan would probably know who that is.
Make a history check. Sounds kind of familiar, but you're not completely sure.
Who's that?
Zoe's voice is trembling. You remember
Your
how
router shipped?
that person said there was a cleric in this town?
Got the tracking
Mhm.
notification for it.
I just hadn't asked yet, so it's like you
That's
never
the
know with how
prophet.
things are going right now.
Huh.
Ooh,
I
Okay.
need to go to this.
Who's
no, that's not bad.
It's not Paylor.
And
It's
that's $17.
Lathander.
Thank you.
Total.
Oh.
And both of mine don't work.
I don't know.
on
She would say something that
the
mentions
newer
Lathander.
one,
I don't know
the
what
Raven.
exactly she says.
It powers on, it works, but the button prompts don't register.
Yeah, which is disappointing.
Yeah, and the other one
Who's
powers
Lathander
on,
again?
but I have a
The
feeling that the pins are either
more socially
loaded
acceptable
or there's
god
too
in the
much
city.
Shit in them, and I can't read it
No.
properly. It
Yeah.
powers on, but
No,
nothing
the other
happens.
one.
There's no picture or anything, so there's a contact misinformation.
Oh.
So buy this for $100. Sell the two broken ones for $40 to
Why do you have
$60
to
as a
go
repair.
meet
Here,
that
maybe you
person?
can make a working
Because if I don't
SNES
go,
out of
things
it
get worse.
to-
Try to take that experience.
and that way I'll have effectively paid $40, maybe $50 for a new Super Nintendo or a new.
A working.
You want to go have lunch tomorrow?
Yeah, no, that seems very reasonable, man. Plus, you'll have a second official controller.
It's an unofficial.
Oh, okay.
And I've got like
I knew you had.
two official and like one or two unofficial.
That's.
I think I remember
Wow.
having the unofficial one when we were playing Mana together a couple
yes,
years
I'll
ago.
go, but I really don't want to.
Really?
Happy cat.
Then what?
Mostly Mal.
If it helps you, I don't want to go either.
Very Mal.
What's the matter, Kit? Are you upset because both of us are here talking and you're not getting attention?
Probably.
What do you think she wants?
You don't want the type of attention that I'm going to give you.
I don't even know how it got in my pocket.
Yep.
Profit and Terrace's mail.
Sorry.
That's
Okay.
all she wants is
Oh, actually, I thought it was. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yep. Wrong
Then
gender.
Okay.
Now I could have gotten it a little cheaper because I followed. There we go.
So with that, I think
for
everybody eventually
$80
probably
plus
finds their way to
shipping,
sleep.
So $110. That's in Canada, and that's not bad. That's from.
I do believe
somebody
everybody
that
has
has,
plans
like,
for the next day.
40, like,
So before we take a break, I just want to reiterate what everybody's doing.
Let's see. This person has like 69 positive feedback. Like
Well, if
69
nothing changes,
feedback,
I'm
positive.
probably going to go speak to the ambassador
I
again,
took a
because
look
no
at
ambassador worth their salt doesn't spy on the city they're in.
The items that they have listed, they all seem
I think
to
we're
be
planning on
pictures. They're all
paired
actual pictures. They're all on the same
going
photo, so
to
they aren't,
investigate
Yeah, stock photos or
somewhere
something.
and fire was a mouse in his pocket.
and I'll take a
Mhm.
take a chance on this because there are enough.
Zoe and Rizwin are
As
going
for
to luncheon.
eBay, I typically don't like buying.
I was going with
has under 100
Kamel
feedback,
because he shouldn't
but
be alone.
It also
Yes.
helps that this seems to be a real
Alright,
I
person
have
who
to
has
decide whether or
reliable
not to wear remember.
apparent background
Uh-huh.
and apparent
I
feedback.
feel like that would probably be poking the bear.
Well, let's take a 5-minute break.
And I mean, like, it
Sounds
could-
good. Be right back.
Let's see. Yeah, they've got Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, 3DS, Pokemon Emerald, Pokemon Yellow, Pokemon Gold, Link to the Past.
I
Set of
had plans for
four.
tomorrow. This is not what they were.
Yeah, probably a collection because it's a set of 4 GBA to GameCube links.
I'll be a few minutes. I'm
Jurassic
just going to
Park
make some
3,
tea.
Brain Age. So yeah, it's like, remember since 2009, 100% positive feedback. So I find, yeah, it just looks like somebody's selling off some shit they have. Because as a buyer, they have 1 feedback, but they don't have any feedback as a seller. But they have a bunch of shit for sale. 1 bid, 3 bids, 0 bid. Kingdom Hearts Final Mix, Final Fantasy 3.
Yeah.
Just a lot of their sales just didn't get any traction.
Back.
Final Fantasy 10-2, Final Fantasy 10, Gold and Silver,
I'm back.
Complete Pokedex,
Wow.
Banjo-Kazooie. Yeah, they're just selling. Yeah, it's like they're selling
I'm
their collection.
very
Bunch
close
collections
of
because
quitting
you've got
this
guides
job.
for Pokemon,
Yeah.
Zelda,
Mostly
Pokemon,
because
Smash Brothers, Banjo-Kazooie,
the
Pokemon,
other
Final Fantasy,
secondary jobs are piling up,
Harry Potter
Mhm.
Chamber of
so
Secrets,
might be
Color,
more beneficial to
10-2,
just dedicate full time on
Sony
that.
PSP 3000, Kingdom Hearts BBS, limited edition, Kingdom Hearts 2, Final Mix. You know, they're just
Slowly doling out their collection over time.
It's very hard in here.
Of course, the
Yeah.
consoles have received the most traction. The Game Boy Advance, the Game Boy Color.
How is the new office going?
Has no
Oh, it's going.
bidding on it.
I didn't work
It's
Thursday or
it's
Friday.
relatively
Easy to get.
Easy to get.
Like you went there and was nothing to do, or
No, I just took the days off. I needed
okay,
some time off.
that's nice.
Wow.
And I'm just watching this auction for Suikoden 2. Started watching it at 99 cents. It went up to like $202 within like 4 hours, and now it's at $235 and less than 2 minutes remaining on it. So I want to see how much it's going to jump by. Because you know those snipers.
Yes, it's going to score.
$235 is an absolute fucking steal for
A complete.
Suikoden 2 right now.
Yeah.
So we'll see if anybody bites on it.
And they probably will.
Oh, I'm sure. Usually the frenzied activity shows up in the last 5 seconds. You see it just bounce.
Yeah.
Probably top off at around $330.
That's crazy. Oh.
But we'll see.
Yep.
It's a U.S. seller, I believe. Yeah. Modesto. Why are you charging $23 Canadian for import? You fucking madman.
Because bullshit.
Yeah, that's why I prefer Canadian sellers, especially for something like a console.
Yep. Those fees just soar out of nowhere. Buck.
Balk and balk.
Yes.
Is everybody back?
Pert has a
I'm
fencing
still
duel
getting
/ date.
Uh-huh.
We're going to go with the fencing duel, and the information feed is the actual focus.
I'm still waiting on water to boil.
Okay.
Is water fire's cousin?
Got close, but not quite what
Arch
I was
nemesis.
expecting. About $50 less.
Yep.
Hey,
But
Jamie,
that's
would you
made
like
up
to see what
for by
Altreus,
all the shipping being $30
Andreas
Canadian
looks like?
and $26
Sure.
for.
There's picture.
Huh.
Do you?
I'm guessing
Yep.
the import charge is
What's
relative
Atreus?
to the auction price
I'm
because
assuming.
And
because
Terrace.
the import charge went up.
Ah,
Like
Yeah.
you said, it was what, $23?
God damn
Yes.
it, Ty.
Yep.
And that was now it's 26. Okay.
Ah, yes, a blur.
Jamie,
Uh-huh.
I'm pretty sure this is purely coincidental.
Uh-huh.
There was a prophet called Antares here in Chile some years ago.
Oh, I did not know that.
He did a bad thing, a very bad thing,
Oh.
very very bad thing.
Oh.
I
Bad
don't
enough
want.
that I should be changing his name?
I don't mind.
Okay.
But it's like, ooh, if the name has some reputation, so a lot of people's gonna die.
I mean, this is not a very good dude either.
Weird coincidence.
Yeah.
I feel like I should be working and it's my free day.
No work. It's D&D time.
How's backstory writing going for Silver?
I did it like last week.
That's cool. I have it like 9/10 filled out, but I just want to finish filling it out because my character has a bunch of connections.
I think all the contrary. Like I have it all done already, and it's very few because my character doesn't have a lot of backstory.
Is that Rizwin and Zoe that you posted in the Cats channel, Jamie?
Who's who?
Rizwin's the one hugging, and Zoe's the one trying to be not knowing what to do with her hands.
Wouldn't it be the other way around?
Yeah.
I believe Rizwin has actively hugged Zoe once.
And then there's the other one with the cat petting the cat, which is just cute. And I think the third cat's just pert in the background, derping.
Mm-hmm.
What? Something emotionally resonant is going on right now? I missed it.
Advantage, you back? No.
Does anyone know why are doing riots in the Netherlands?
No.
Were they the ones that passed the anti-abortion law, or was that a different country?
Wasn't that Poland?
Yeah, I thought it was Poland.
Portugal. No.
Argentina did like 2 weeks ago or something.
I'm back. Sorry.
Welcome back.
From what I can tell, I think they're anti-lockdown protests.
Oh.
Uh,
Tea ready?
Uh-huh.
All right. Then let's continue. The next morning arrives. You all wake up and go to breakfast in various states of restfulness. And I do believe we have 3 groups of people doing 3 different reconnaissance missions, sort of. Who would like to go first?
You want to go first because it doesn't matter to me.
I think Pert's timeline lies happens around the same time or later than Zoe's.
Yeah, Pert's would be... You're not quite sure how early that place opens, but your best bet is probably to go in the evening.
Well, timeline-wise, I guess me.
Okay. Amalus and Kamale. Where do you go?
Well, I'm going to the embassy because it's really the only place I can think of immediately to get information of any way, shape, or form about what's been going on in this city in the past 6 months.
Okay. Make me... What kind of role would you like to make for information gathering? Is this a persuasion or an insight, maybe?
I think it's mostly persuasion and just appealing to, like, she's an ambassador. She would have access to stuff that's happened, and I would just be blunt with her and tell them they're here.
Okay. Then please make me a persuasion check. At advantage because Amalus is with you.
Okay, I made it at advantage.
wow.
Wow.
Roll to see if the double.
Oh, sure, why not?
So she does tell you that they do know that the cult has been active here and that they're keeping a very close eye on it. So far, all that's really happened is they've been basically gathering followers, converting mostly like commoners Although they do have some suspicions that they may be in with a couple of minor nobles.
People who are trying to shake things up to their advantage.
Mm-hmm.
I'll ask what areas of town do they normally try to recruit from? If I were to want to find a base of operations, where would they be?
Likely in the poorer areas. I don't have all of the areas of the city named.
That's fine.
But
say the slums.
Yeah, the place that you came in through is those are the on the west side of the city. Those are the poorer areas, and that's typically where they recruit from. She also tells you, with that 29, that they have some concerns that one of their higher up members in the cult is quite a powerful wizard. He goes by the name of Trevarian the Great, although some of the commoners who know him or have met him call him Mad Trav.
Their reputation is eccentric, dangerous.
More dangerous. This is not somebody you want to mess with.
Can I make a world building suggestion?
Sure.
That area of the city is called the Stumps, at least colloquially, because that's, while they don't do tanning in oak stumps anymore, that's how it started.
Oh, I like that. It's called the Stumps.
I like Dryden.
Dryden.
Wow. The city?
Yes.
Wow. Shade of Northern Ontario.
Dryden is another not quite so tanning heavy area of the city. Also, poorer, but maybe not the poorest.
It's where they make paper.
Yep.
Right.
I'm just throwing shit at Dryden.
Okay. Well, I thank the ambassador for her time. Appreciate the information. If she comes across anything else, please send me a letter. Tell any of our people in the city who are in contact with you to pass on anything they see.
She nods and says that she will do so.
And what I want to do after that as well, since I have a boatload of money, I want to go pick up some non-fancy armor I can wear.
Okay. Please make me an investigation check. You cannot, for the life of you, find a place that sells plate armor. There's people that will custom make plate armor. You found some of those, but that's going to take a while.
What about stuff that's not as sturdy as plate armor? Basically, I'm looking for something that doesn't make me stand out like a sore thumb if needed.
Yeah, you can find some mail, like a set of mail armor that is going to have the symbol of Lathander on it.
No, I can't do that. And I can't face it either. He's not a bad guy.
He's being mean tonight.
Just thinking. And nothing else in sort of the medium range that I could find, like half plate or breastplate or.
I like everything you find that's, breastplate or mail armor, it's all got Lathander on it.
I just kind of look up at the sky and go, sorry. Well, it's a sign from heaven that he should just be seen and heard and make people choke on their drinks.
Rizwin totally has some old chainmail that you can use.
I mean, if she does, that'd be cool. I don't know how to bring that up in story accurately.
You could just go to her and say, "Hey, can I borrow your chainmail?"
Or be like, what the fuck? All the armor here has the symbol of a god on it.
Yeah, I think that might be. I'm trying to find some armor that's not emblazoned by the symbol of a foreign god. Do you have anything I could borrow?
Mo.
Chainmail.
Feet?
It's in the horse, so we have to go out to the stable. It's in the horse's pack, so we have to go out to the stables.
Okay, we'll go out to the stables and get it. I'm sure. Well, the stables are attached to the house.
Yes.
Yeah.
What was that, Costa?
Would armor for Rizwin feet
Needs extra time.
Camel?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Hand wave. Chainmail is
Nice
always
part
big.
about doing smaller
Like,
loads
it's
every
usually-
3-ish
it is usually one
days
size fits
thanks
most.
to treadmill.
Yeah.
You know,
I
fire
usually only have
just
one,
changed
maybe
his
2 pairs
armor.
of pants in there.
What did you
And
use
then
before
3 shirts and 3 shorts and
He
3 of
used
everything else.
It's Hyde, wasn't it?
Hide, yes.
No.
It's good for
Fire,
sneaking.
fire hide.
Rizwin's armor is going to be a little tight. Probably going to chafe a little bit.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's backup if I have to go somewhere and not be,
Quite so bright.
WWE entrance music, right?
Ba, ba, da, ba.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can't see Kamal.
But just like I'll keep it basically nearish by. He's not gonna change until we hit he has a reason to he needs to go back up hurt. He should look less conspicuous, or we're gonna go sneaking around the stumps, be less conspicuous. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And I'll pass on that information to the people as well, that they seem to be operating out of the stumps and driving for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact, pointedly looking at Zoe because he knows she craves stuff about magical lore, that a certain wizard is in cahoots with them.
Hey, Jamie.
Mm-hmm.
What do I roll to try and hide the look of worry on Zoe's face right now?
Deception?
Your performance.
I like performance more than deception, which no, it's the same roll.
You're trying to deceive me from finding out.
Make it insight, Camille. Who wins that tie?
I believe the one who's doing it wins a tie, doesn't it?
You're both doing it.
I'm seeing there's anything about contested rules.
Yeah.
I gotta say, that's silly.
So segue while people are looking important rules up.
Yeah.
Turns out you can cast 2 spells in a single turn if you use your reaction to cast a spell. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
It came up as a rule last night, and Silver went and looked up the excerpt to explain it.
Yeah,
because
but
it's your
you
reaction, it's
Yeah, you have to have a spell that takes one reaction.
Yes, exactly. So something like shield does not mean you can't cast any other spells.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can cast a reaction level spell as a reaction. It's the only time you can cast it. It doesn't take up your action spell.
Exactly. It's an interesting footnote, but it's still useful. In the case of attack of opportunity response for combat mechanics.
No one has a definitive answer on what happens when 2 PCs tie in a roll.
That sounds like a reroll.
Sounds like a DM decision.
Yeah, I would say, Jamie, it's either you ask us to reroll or you go with what you think will make the most interesting plot.
I would say that maybe Zoe does seem like a little like. You do notice a bit of a reaction from Zoe, but it might be more. You're not sure if it's like her going, "Ah, drat! There was a wizard in the city, and now he's evil, and I can't go talk to him," or if she might have known something.
Oh.
I would say you do notice a reaction, but you can't tell what that reaction means.
Do you know anything? This is your hometown. Do you know anything about crazy, evil, potentially evil wizards?
My knowledge of magic was not strong before I left this town.
Mm-hmm. Looks at Zoe.
That's not a lie.
No. Well, have a good day. I hope you got enough sleep last night.
Does Camille know Zoe doesn't sleep anymore?
Also, did you do something with your hair since yesterday?
I got it cut.
No, since last night. Never mind. He just gets up and leaves the room.
All right. Did you have any other recon stuff you wanted to do, Camille?
No. I mean, I could ask around, like, some of the fancier places in town, but I don't think that'd get me much of anything I don't already know.
Yeah.
And I'm hesitant to go anywhere near the Platinum Army because reasons.
Mm-hmm.
So at this time and point, no, he's kind of just waiting for more information and what the others find and piece it together.
Yeah. All right. The morning passes. Soon, Zoe, you know that it is about time for you and Rizwin to be leaving.
I think Zoe started prepping to leave beforehand, like making sure she had a good dress on. She's probably suggesting they take the cart. Not the cart, the
Carriage.
Does Zoe want Rizwin wearing the fancy guard uniform or the dress? Or a different dress?
Whatever the most elegant thing you have is.
Also, question, just because it has been brought up, is this something you are not actively telling the rest of the party?
Actively, no. I think she's just kind of in a panic. Like, she's not thinking to share the information. But Rizwin knows, so Rizwin's choice.
I'm not sure. Well, nah, I guess she would at this point. She would at least let somebody know where they're going in case they don't come back.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who that would be, though.
It's up to you.
Hmm. I'm gonna say probably fire.
What?
She'll pull fire aside, be like, "Look, we're going here. It's kind of sketchy. If we're not back by the evening, there's a problem. If we're not back in several hours, there's a problem."
Okay. Okay, don't worry about it. But should that be good about it?
Not yet.
Not yet. Being shoes?
Oh, sorry, I misunderstood what you said.
Yeah, you went a little garbly there, Costa.
Sorry. Should that be shush about this?
I just don't bring it up unless it becomes a problem, I guess.
These days, I don't even know what complaints from. Just go. I know where you are, and I give you the point my eyes and look at you.
Rizwan's like, this ain't my idea.
All right. So you two are taking a carriage. Rizwan, what are you wearing?
I guess the fancy dress.
Okay. The Wonder Woman dress?
Mhm.
Okay.
There's still some kind of weapon hidden somewhere, though.
Yeah.
Zoe is wearing the dress from the ceremony in Marielda,
Okay.
including her parasol.
Mm-hmm. So the carriage takes you through the nicer districts through the merchant district to the other side of it, and you on the other side of the merchant district you come to a street that seems completely deserted. No houses line it. Instead, there are walls on either side covered in vines that are flowering, these like palm-sized gold flowers. It gives the street almost like a bit of a romantic feel to it. At the end, you see a dilapidated-looking gazebo, pillars weathered and crumbling, nature encroaching at its leisure. A teenage girl, probably close to Gwen's age, waits at attention just outside of it.
We should have let you all go alone.
She was allowed one guard.
I'm scared.
We all are. So I assume somebody opens the door, and then Zoe gets out.
All right. She offers you a hand to help you down.
Trying to remember every bit of etiquette she knows, Zoe takes the hand and thanks.
Can I assert that Rizwan gets out first and has a look around, and then is the one that helps Zoe down?
Sure. The girl bows to the two of you. And she says, "Follow me, please." And she leads you through the archway of the gazebo.
Is there anything that Rizwan notices before we step through?
Make a perception check. You don't see anybody else. It just looks like a very deserted garden, I guess. The young girl's waiting patiently for the two of you to follow.
Is Rizwan taking a position behind Zoe?
I think she might actually try to be leading at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Zoe puts up her parasol and follows behind Rizwan.
All right. And as she leads you through the archway of the gazebo, very slowly, the scenery starts to change. As though it's being constructed before your eyes, walls start to appear around you, growing around the windows. The cracked cobblestones beneath your feet become solid marble. Your footsteps echo through the high vaulted ceilings. A heavy golden glow surrounds you. You find yourself in a building. At the end of this room is a large statue of a set of golden antlers twisting around each other like gnarled tree branches. Before it sits a table with 3 chairs, and despite the velvety tablecloth and gold trim, it seems quite out of place. As you look around this room, the windowsills, the plaster of the, like, on the ceilings and the walls, everything is lined with gold. It's like walking into the Vatican.
I need to learn that spell, so this is just loud enough so Rizwan can hear.
I think Rizwan is a little bit like anime eyes whoa, at all the sparklies.
Rizwan, focus!
Right, right.
The young girl that had led you in here has taken a place, back at attention, sort of to the back of that table that has been set up. And as the two of you approach the table, your footsteps echoing on the ground, you see motion out of the corner of your eye, and another figure enters. A middle-aged black man who has all the gravitas of owning this place steps out from an open door. Everything he wears is gold. Every finger has a golden ring, multiple necklaces and bracelets. His robes are white with very heavy gold trim. He moves silently across the floor. Well, right on time. I always appreciate punctuality in a person. I don't believe we've met, he says to Rizwan. Gives a very, like, far too deep of a bow to you and says, I am the Prophet Antares. And it's so lovely to see you again, Abigail, all grown up. I haven't seen her since she was a little tot terrorizing her nannies.
I have some questions.
Mm-hmm.
Have I ever met this person before?
I don't know that you have. You could pick this man out of a crowd as being the Prophet Antares just by the way he's dressed, but I don't think his face is recognizable to you.
I must have been mistaken. I do not recall ever meeting you before.
Well, we all forget things when we're children. He has a bit of a predatory smile on his face as he looks down at you, Zoe. But please, we're here for lunch. Have a seat.
So we will go step up to the seat, and I assume Rizwin's going to help her push the chair in?
Yep.
Or is she being distracted by gold?
Nah, that didn't last very long.
With that, she'll take her seat and sit as proper as she was trained to.
Mm-hmm.
Rizwa does not sit down. She moves somewhere nearby and is just acting like more of a hired help than a friend.
Okay. You move sort of to the side of the table, and the prophet pulls his chair out, sits cross-legged, sort of with a hand up in the air to wave over servants with food, and says, "Well, suit yourself." He is not sitting proper.
Jarkanian's proper with a lady.
A couple of servants bring over some food. Plates of, like, this is fancier than the food that you were served at Zoe's house. There is absolutely gold leaf on some of this.
On the plates or on the food?
On the food.
Okay.
There was definitely gold leaf on the plates at Zoe's place.
Oh yeah, like, there's gold in the plates, but there's gold leaf on the food. And he starts eating.
I think Zoe eats, but not like massive. Like she's not. It's not her primary goal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just little bits. And through a mouthful of food, the prophet says, "How's your stay been back home?"
It is always good to return after a long trip.
Yes, the sights of the world can rarely compare to the comfort of home. And what particular business might you have being back here? Aside from visiting your family, of course.
That was the primary goal of this trip, was to visit family, see my sister, talk to my parents again.
Oh, that's so sweet. How are your parents, by the way? It's been a while since I've talked to them. Time just has a habit of getting away from you sometimes.
I doubt that.
Well, you are quite young yet. Someday you'll find yourself my age and wondering what month it is. He looks over at Rizwan. Ah, to be young again.
Did Rizwin gather any significance from that look?
No. Only that he's kind of a dick.
Kinda.
It was not the look that conveyed that.
So it is not often that one gets a request for lunch from a prophet. What do I owe this experience to?
Well, after I heard what you and your friends did in Marialda, once I heard you were back in town, I very well couldn't pass up the opportunity to have lunch with such a vaunted hero.
If you wanted lunch with a vaunted hero, why did you request me?
Well, did you not participate in the driving back of this demon army?
I was just there to assist. That was other people's work.
Oh, I'm sure you're just being modest. Modesty is a virtue, but only in small amounts. You should be proud of your accomplishments.
Did he just say small notes?
In small amounts.
Oh, dang, that was going to lead to something. I'm sure you feel that way.
Well, it was a good thing that you were in Marielda at that time. I shudder to think what would have happened to the city had you and your friends been somewhere else. It is interesting that a demon invasion would occur now. You know, we have a little bit of a cult problem going on in the city. They also seem to think quite highly of demons. I'm sure it's just a coincidence.
We do have a cult problem. Plus, there's those demon-loving people.
Sorry, what was that?
She just called him a cult.
Nah. He laughs. There is a little less humor in that laugh. Well, whatever you might think of me and my institution, I'm sure that you think even less of this cult.
I don't think highly of anyone who would cause others harm.
Oh, that's very sweet of you. Well, at least for the time that you'll be in the city, I'm sure they won't be causing too much trouble. They're currently going through a leadership change, and such things take time to settle.
What type of leadership change?
Well, it was the darndest thing. Their head of operations, I think he called himself the master or something. How pretentious. Met a bit of a misfortunate end yesterday. A terrible accident. Just slipped and hit his head just the wrong way.
Isn't it unfortunate?
Oh, yes. My mistake.
Oh no, that was me asking you.
No, he said misfortunate.
Misfortunate, you say? What we were told, it was unfortunate is the normal way of saying that, right?
No, misfortunate is
it is the correct.
yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Unfortunate would be the grammatically correct thing. When somebody says misfortunate, it means something.
I'm sure you have no idea how that happened.
Not a clue. Well, of course, just because they're not without a leader doesn't mean that small, isolated incidents couldn't still cause problems. While you and your friends are in the city, were you to come across any of these cult members causing problems, surely you would be good enough to take care of them. Even if things aren't, well, Marielda bad right now, it's always good to be on top of things. And were you to eliminate any of these extra cult members, I might also extend a little gratitude your way.
And what type of gratitude could you offer the daughter of the Prey Lord? God damn it, I should know this.
Primor.
Primor.
Well, I don't mean to be immodest. He gives a big grin, but as powerful as your family might be, they are not as powerful as me.
I've seen what your power does.
Oh? What does that mean?
Who knows?
He takes a big bite of food and says, You know, I get the sense you don't like me very much.
I'm sure you get that feeling a lot as she picks up a cup of tea and has a sip.
Well, I don't much care what people think of me as long as they show the proper respect. After all, this city might bow down to Lathander in the light of day, but I make this city run, and everyone knows it. Everyone's good fortune is owed to me and my goddess. And, well, if people are not respectful enough, perhaps misfortune might pay a visit.
I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
How much misfortune can you really visit on one person?
Would you really like to know?
I've been living it for 16 years.
You see your life as misfortunate. Well, I suppose I could see how that would be perceived. Can't have been easy growing up looking as you do. But your very presence was wished for by someone. I remember meeting your mother for the first time. How sad she was that she couldn't have children.
My mother would not go to you because she could not have children. I know what you're saying is a lie. My mother has 2 daughters.
Yes, she does. But even so, I think she would feel that she was very fortunate to have you.
Zoe's eyes flare red.
He is smiling a very big smile. Oh dear, I seem to have upset you a bit. I'm sorry.
Does Rizwan get the sense that he is just messing with her, or he's actually telling the truth to mess with her?
Please make an insight check. Let me... No, where is his sheet? I'll have to roll it by hand. Unclear. He is
Wow.
definitely enjoying messing with her. He leans back, having finished his food, and says, regardless, should you manage to clean up any cult members while you're in this city, simply bring their fingers, heads, whatever you like to me, and I might be willing to grant you a magical favor or two. Those with magic are always looking to have more.
Getting a magical favor from you would likely cost it from other places. But I will tell you this. My goal is to clean up the cults from this town and make it a safe place for others.
What a lovely goal. I, of course, look forward to your efforts. Well, I think I've taken up enough of your time. I hope you found the food delicious. He stands up.
I can't think of the word, but basically she calls the food ostentatious.
Ostentatious,
but not good.
yeah.
That's
But not
literally the word
tasty.
for it.
Yes, but I think she would come with more cunning way of putting it. I can't think of it at the moment. And with that, she stands up and says, "This has been an interesting meal, to say the least."
I so look forward to seeing you again, Miss Abigail. He nods ahead to Rizwin. Ma'am?
She's doing the I'm furniture thing.
And as much as a 11-foot or 4-foot 11-inch and a half tall girl can do, she walks as tall as she possibly can out of the place.
All right. As tall and as proud as you walk, this place just dwarfs you.
This is a normal feeling for Zoe, yes.
But even more so than most buildings, it feels like it is meant to intimidate. You walk through the building. Rizwin behind, I assume?
Yeah, on the way out behind.
Okay. Through the open door, back into daylight. And you just take a second to look behind you, and there is no building. Just the crumbling archway of the gazebo. And a wild-looking garden. Your carriage is still waiting for you.
So he walks up to the door, assuming Rizwin will do her standard thing and open it.
Yep, opens it and helps her in.
Climbs inside, waits for Rizwin to get in and then start moving, and then just goes over her to her, wraps her arms around her, and starts crying.
I think right now Rizwin will just hug her back and not say anything.
And your carriage takes you home. And I feel like that might be a good place to end it. I know it's a little early today.
Sure.
Dun dun dun.
You thought things were gonna pop off this week, and I'm still ramping up.
I think they had the potential to pop off, but given the information we had.
So he
I
wants
feel like that was mostly meta knowledge.
Meta knowledge slash a sense of growing ramping. Good storytelling stuff. Yes, tension and approaching a plot words, writer things, etc. Yes. Anyways, I'm going to stop recording so I stop